I always felt safe with my dad. It was just me and him after my mom died. He was quiet, but he loved me more than anyone ever could. We had our routines, morning walks, soccer games, him sitting on his favorite chair, watching me play with my friends. It felt normal. Maybe I was too young to see the things everyone else did. Looking back, the signs were everywhere. It started out when I found the old photo. I was cleaning the attic, going through the boxes of the stuff my mom left behind. That was when I pulled out the picture. It was old and faded, the kind you see in your grandparents' albums. The man in the photo was young, smiling and wearing a suit. He looked just like my dad, except this picture was dated 1975. I wasn't even born then. When I showed him the photo that night, his face changed. It was like all the light drained from his eyes. He looked scared, almost guilty. "Where did you find this?" he asked softly. "In the attic," I said. "It looks like you, but the date is so old." He took the photo from my hand and stared at it for what felt like forever. "It's just someone that looks like me," he said, his voice shaky. "It's nothing." I wanted to believe him, I did. But after that day, things got strange. I'd catch him sitting alone in the dark, whispering to himself. He would disappear for hours, sometimes days, without a word. And when I asked him where he went, he would just say, "I'm always here, Kemi, always." One night, I woke up to the sound of crying. It wasn't loud, it was just a soft, muffled sobbing. Like someone was trying to hide it. I thought it was a dream until I walked into the living room and saw my dad sitting in his chair, head in his hands. I'd never seen him cry before. "Dad," I whispered. He looked at me, and I swear for a moment, his eyes were black, not dark brown like usual, pitch black, like the space between the stars. It was only for a second, but it made my skin crawl. "I'm sorry," he said. "I never wanted you to find out." "Find out what, Dad?" I asked, stepping back. My voice was trembling. I could feel something wasn't right, something I couldn't understand. He stood up slowly, reaching out to me, but his hand went through my shoulder like a smoke. I gasped, stumbled back. "Kemi," he said, his voice breaking. "I am not... I've never really been here." I didn't know what he meant. I thought I was dreaming. This had to be a nightmare. I ran into the kitchen trying to get away, but he was already there, standing by the window. He looked into the darkness like he was searching for something. "I died before you were born," he said quietly. "Your mom, she couldn't handle it, so I stayed." The room went cold as the shadows seemed to stretch and grow around him. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. Then he began to fade. It started with his hands turning into mist. He reached for me one last time, but I couldn't feel him. His eyes, those sad, empty eyes, were the last thing to disappear. "I love you, Kemi," he said. "Always remember that." And then he was gone. I stood there in the empty kitchen, the silence ringing in my ears. The house felt different, hollow. I felt the empty chair in the living room, the one he used to sit in every night. I'd find myself staring at it, hoping he would come back, that maybe I'd imagined the whole thing. But he never did. Now every night I hear him, it's just a whisper, "I'm always here."